Right, next one we're going to talk about is water. And I'm going to have a sip of water. Okay, so the philosopher is the water element. Some strengths of water are the quest for truth, right? And water element types are often debunking myths. And something tells me that there's going to be a need for that in 2021. Let's just put it like that. So if you're a water element person, you tend to be quite a thinking person, an intelligent person. You can be a lot inside your head and less doing, particularly thinking about water and wood. They can be very similar in some ways, but a wood person will be more of a doer, whereas a water person will be more of a thinker. That's why they kind of call it the philosopher. So you've generally got a good sense of planning and thinking, right? But it's more based on introspection rather than the world around you. It's probably more based on the world within you, what you perceive things to be or how you'd like things to be. And also water element people can have a really good vivid imagination and be very visionary and projecting ideas and thinking of things. So I want to ask you, if you're a water element person, where would the best place be for you to utilise your ability to, as a visionary in 2021? Where's the best space for you to do that? Maybe in your workplace, maybe in your business, maybe at home with your family. Where do you see things going and how can you orchestrate that to happen? You might have goals like, oh, I want my kids to do better at school, or I want to give opportunity for, my partner to do something, or something that you want for your family life. You want better relationships in your family, or maybe your greater family, not just your, might be, long lost relationships that need to be repaired or something like that. And so think, like, what do you envision for those things, and what's the disparity between what it is now and where you envision it, and how could you make that happen in 2021? Water types tend to be very open to ideas, and that can be a great strength of seeing lots of possibilities and not being closed, right? So not being stuck on a particular trajectory, but being open and thinking like that. Another thing about water types that will help you navigate the tumultuous journey of 2021 is water types of people have wells, like reserves of strength. Right? You may not even realise this. These are kind of people where they get through a tough time and they're like, I don't know how we got through that. Or within the group, you're the person that people lean on a little bit more. You're the person that people tend to, draw upon you, right? So a well is something where you go to it and you get the water out of it when you need it, right? And it's there, it's always there. And you dig deep, or you get, that wells were places which were, we don't kind of have wells in the Western world now that we kind of know of, because we just have to turn the water on in a tap. But water is a source of life, right? Without it, you're going to die. It's one of the basic needs. So you can be, as a water element type of person, you're kind of a source of life for your community. You might be a source of life for your family, for your business, for your, for social groups or things like that. And so as a community, your role is often, within the community, your role is often that source of strength for others, and that's okay, right? It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not something to think, oh, I wish people wouldn't use me so much, but that's part of who you are, and it probably benefits you in some ways to have that, as long as you have your own space as well. So a weakness of water could be, or a detriment of water, I should say, not a weakness, would be if they didn't have their own time, because they need that introspection. They need that time for their own self to kind of build up the reserve again, right? And to, be like that. One of the weaknesses of water can be that there's too much thinking and not enough doing. So kind of like opposite of wood, right? Where wood can kind of have the opposite, like too much doing and not enough thinking. Water can have that inactivity can kind of be too sedentary. Now, water types of people tend to like philosophy kind of jobs. They kind of think and strategize, and and maybe others in the organisation will go and do the doing of it. And also can be maybe very good teachers, very good, philosophers and teachers and artists and things like that, strategists. So I think one of the things for water types I would say is how can you empower a little bit more doing in 2021? Like, are there things that you've thought about in previous years? Oh, I wish I could always do, I've always thought about doing this, or I've always imagined, because you probably have a vivid imagination, I've always imagined myself as a piano player, but you've never actually taken any lessons or even purchased a piano. Well, maybe this is something you need to do, right? And so you will get some empowerment of doing that. You will get some benefit out of doing it. You don't have to just imagine all those things. What projects or creative concepts that you've been working on, you might have worked really hard on these things, do you need to actually take action on, this year? What of those things that you need to take action on? One of the weaknesses of water can be that you're just too inwardly focused, right? Because you get that benefit from that introspection, but you can be a little bit too inwardly focused, and that could be at the detriment of what's going on in the outside world. My final point and my final idea for water in 2021 would be to encourage you that you probably need to plan some social connections in 2021. So water element people, because they're so good at being in their own mind, they enjoy that place. They don't necessarily need other people, not like the fire element who needs social, who needs, friends and family all around them. They need, pleasure and connection and those kinds of things. Water element people can do very, very well for long periods of time without other people. They're like their own well, right? They're their own reservoir of source like that. So what you kind of need to do is purposefully plan to make social connections, because you do need that. You do need some of that. You can't just be all about yourself. And so that would be my advice, So you don't need lots and lots of friends. You don't need hundreds of friends. You might only need 2 or 3 friends, 2 or 3 really good friends. But if you neglect those friendships, then they kind of fade away, and then you don't get the benefit of it. I hope you enjoyed that, water type people. I just want to make a little video before New Year to kind of help you with your planning and with your ideas for New Year. I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next video soon.